And good afternoon and welcome to Tuesday night TGP1 season 33, and we are looking at rounds 9 and round 10, which is Italy, as you can see on the screen at the moment, and then Australia is the second race of tonight. Now, as you can see, 5 minutes to go and it's already looking very tasty at the front at the moment. Obviously, we've got Matt Tibos on a 19.0, already, I believe, 8 tenths quicker at the moment than last season's pole, as far as I'm aware. So it's already looking very, very fast, very, very tasty at present. So that is absolutely fantastic then with that. And as we can see, Dan the Man is on a lap. Obviously, as you can see, 0 laps completed on that. This will be his first lap. Obviously there, so that is fantastic. And as we can see, the top 3 are already in the pits, so they're done their laps there. So that is fantastic. And Dan the Man at the moment, obviously on his current flying lap, currently in P4, as we can see on a 19.4. So he's only 4 tenths off the fastest time at the moment, which is fantastic. And he's actually half a tenth up on his current lap time. It's not actually going to make a difference to his race position, as actually is just invalidate his lap on the left-hander at Ascari. So he's getting the pits and obviously get back out as soon as we can. And I must say at the moment, as I was just saying a few seconds ago, last season's pole position time, I believe, was a 19.8. Currently, the top, 7 people are already within that pole position time. So it's clear something's happened in the game. It's either got a lot faster or people have been doing a lot of sweating. One or the other. And we're actually going to go and watch Khalifa, actually, as he is currently on a flying lap. Currently P5, obviously, at present. And I will actually say, with regards to that, he is currently, near the front in the championship. I will actually go and have a look at the standings in just a few seconds, not just yet. We'll actually do it while it's loading between sessions there. And obviously, nice little camera angle next to the driver. 7th gear, overtake mode at the moment. Obviously, 56% ERS, not really an issue in qualifying. Obviously at the moment. So Khalifa then, getting a bit out of shape there. Obviously on the exit of Ascari, that would have lost him maybe a tenth to 2 tenths down this run down to Parabolica. Very easy just to lose time there. Not really what you want. He's P5 though, he's not too far off. I believe he may improve, and I think he's actually coming into the pits. And yes, he is. So he is coming into the pits, obviously, for him. And what I'm actually going to do then is I'm going to actually watch Corey, who currently isn't the championship leader. That's Machine Fishy. However, and actually, they're getting... they're all getting the toe here, so obviously you've got the Red Bull and the Toro. So the Toro and the Red Bull of Phil and Ginger Andy were practicing this, I believe, obviously in a practice session just 5 to 10 minutes ago. So they've been very rehearsed on this, and looking at it at the moment, Phil's only in 11th place, so I think they may need to do this, obviously, to help each other out. And here we go then, Corey on a lap. He's in overtake mode down this main straight, getting that extra horsepower. He doesn't need to mess up turn 1. We're actually going to go on board with him into turn 1 then. A nice little cut into turn 1. Perfect. That's what you need to do. Avoid the curb on the left-hand side. Short shift to second to third. Up the gears. And he's actually getting a bit of a slipstream from, I believe, Panos head, as Khalifa has retired. So he will be no higher than P5. And he may drop down there. Again, he's now actually running high, is Corey. Purple sector 1. He misses that apex very slightly there. I usually try and take a lot of curve there just to open out the exit into this next right-hander. Very easy to lose it, and he is getting a very nice slipstream from that racing point of Panos ahead. So this should be a very good lap from Corey if he keeps it clean, keeps it tidy. And he keeps it smiley, of course, as well there. Obviously, coming up to the second split, I believe. And, it doesn't actually show it there for some reason. Ooh, a bit on the curb there. Need to be very careful of that. But it's looking tidy. And he's actually backed out of it. So he must have lost on there. So that's... one to watch out. And actually, Aiden then, as he comes round Palabroca, is 2.5 tenths up on his time. So he would go potentially P5, maybe P4 if he keeps it clean. He's actually ran out of ERS, as we can see in the bottom right, using overtake, goes off the track there. And he invalidates it. He invalidates the lap by going off the track. Aiden, I don't really know what to say there, to be honest with yourself. And we're actually going to go with Matt Tibos then, who's, I think, he's a 10th up, Matt Tibos then. going into Sector 2 on his time. So he's looking at an 18.9 potentially at this point in time. Corey is out of it, so I think Matt Tibos probably is going to get pole. And Machine Fisher then actually is, and actually Machine Fisher is a 10.5 up, so he's not quite doing what he needs to at the moment, and he's actually corner cut that, so that's Machine Fishy done, no higher than third, and Matt Tibos has set a purple middle sector as well, I believe. So Matt Tibos, I think, may do what he's going to do. I'd say a 18, whether it's an 18.8 and 18.9, that will depend on how well he does this final corner. Nice and easy, on the power, nice and early there, 4th, 5th, 6th gear. He's still got just enough ERS, so he's not going to run out. He's rationing that, and he runs out there, and there we go, then an 18.8, so that is fantastic there. And we're actually going to go with Dan the Man then, finishing his lap, obviously, and Corey is out, of course, as you can see on the left-hand side. Machine Fish is pretty much out as well. He's not going to improve. And then Dan the Man fire. Oh, very, very understeery there as Machine Fish keeps out of the way there. But I think Dan the Man, will he improve? No, he doesn't. I mean, he does improve on his time by 1/10.5. And that is pretty much qualifying done and dusted. So Matt Tibos is on pole. Quite a big margin, I'd say, to Corey. However, Corey did, I think he sort of messed up on his final lap. Machine Fishy, not too disappointing. He's the championship leader at the moment. And now we're actually going to go with the championship, as we can see on the right-hand side there. Machine Fishy on 111 points. Corey, 13 points behind. Matt Tibos in third, 22 points behind. So it's not too far. Khalifa, even though he's had quite a few nightmare races, is only 32 points behind as well. There, Aiden's in P5 on, wait for it, 69. Haha. 69 points there in P5, and Knighton is 6th on 67. So, yeah, it's still quite close, I'd say, to be honest with yourself. It's, well, even though there's been a lot of crashes, Matt's DNF from a few races, Corey has, Machine Fishy has been in a few instances. So, everyone's misfortunes is allowing this championship still to remain relatively close, which is, it's good to see. It really is good to see that it is all still there, which is fantastic, to be honest with yourself. But, Monza, Matt needs to turn it around. He really does. He needs to get that pace back. He needs to get that consistency back. Monza, it is going to be quite difficult, I'd say. He's got two very fast people in second and third, and there we can see them. Matt Tibos in first, Corey second, Machine Fishy half a second off in third. Dan the Man, I think he'll be very, very happy with that in P4. Kyle, very good P5 there. Panos P6. Phil, I think he'll be a bit disappointed in P6. And obviously Khalifa, Aiden, and then Knighton rounding out the top 10. And I will say the top 9 in this session are all within last season's pole position time. So I think that says it all for this season. Obviously with that, I'm talking of strategies for this race as well. It's going to be interesting. I think there's going to be a safety car with Cody's changing the rate of the safety car. I definitely think there's going to be some sort, whether it's virtual or whether it is an actual safety car. It can and will, I think it will affect the races. I really do. And it is a dry race as well there. A bit cloudy, it looks like, and it should stay dry, I believe, as well. So it's a straight up fight for the win, for the podium, for the points. But we'll see. I think it's going to be a very interesting race, and I hope it is. I hope it's not a boring race. Obviously, hopefully, turn 1 is kept clean. Very easy, I would say, for everyone to dive into turn 1. And I will say as well, we do have a newcomer into this race. As you can see at the bottom right screen, Magic Poop Cannon is his name. It's not Popcorn, it's nothing like that. It's Magic Poop Cannon. Obviously someone who I know very well, as well as Phil and Jack Pearson and Ginger Andy. Known him since 2010. So shout out to good old Moss, obviously there. So we will see where he finishes in his debut TGP1 race. And here we go then. Lights are on. 3 lights, 4 lights, and 5 lights. And they are now, wait for it, away. And Jack Craig has already got a jump start, so that's not good for himself. Let's get obviously all of this up then. And there we go then, side by side. Corey's got a very good start on the inside of turn 1. Will he back out of it? He's going for it. He brakes very late. There's a bit of wing damage there from someone, but then Corey has managed to get ahead. And Dan the Man has got a 5-second penalty, and there's a bit of contact there for the Haas. And there's a virtual safety car already. As I said, virtual safety car, but there was a bit of contact through turn 1. Not too sure who that was. I think it may have been Jack. Well, there we go. Aiden's got missing half of his wing on the left-hand side, and Jack Craig has already retired there. Not what he wants. So a bit of damage, and I do believe Jack Pearson also has wing damage on his right hand side. But what we're going to do is we're going to keep obviously watching the front is Robojeep there. Obviously, bit of a collision with Paul. Not sure how that happens, but virtual safety car is going to be very important, and I think it is coming in now as Corey has bolted. He's tried to get a bit of a lead, and well, Matt Tibos is pretty much right behind him. To be fair, Machine Fishy a few tenths back, a second back there. But let's just take a look then. Will Matt be able to do anything with Corey? Again, the gap was quite big in qualifying, I would say. And that was a bit of a wobble there for Machine Fishy, but Machine Fishy, and there is a yellow flag, and Dan the Man, I believe, has been, as you can see in the background, on the right hand side, Dan the Man has spun it on the exit of Ascari, and there is a yellow flag, no safety car though, I will point out, it's just a yellow flag, but at the moment then, it is separated by a second and a half between the top three. Machine Fishy looks to be getting very feisty with that, and fifth and fourth then we'll go back to there and have a quick look at this, nearly a three-way battle, three wide nearly, between Phil, Kyle and Panos. Phil up the inside of turn one, obviously tries to hang him right. Phil not quite leaving him enough room there on mid-turn one. Very easy to do, to be honest with yourself. But then Machine Fishy is 3 tenths behind, so nothing going on there. We're going to stick to this battle, obviously between the 4th, 5th and 6th battle there. And let's take a look. That's worst camera angle ever. Phil going very defensive there. Nice defensive move from Phil. But then Panos not quite being able to have a bit of an attack there. And actually, Kyle going a bit wide. Obviously getting in a bit deep there. He's going to think about up the inside his Panos, but he thinks better of it. Again, it is a long range, 13 laps, and this is only lap 2 of those 13. No point, risking it for a biscuit too soon, of course, I will point out. But there we go then, so nothing to worry about there for Kyle. I thought he was going to outbrake himself into that. And actually, let's have a look then. Risky Racer is about 3 tenths behind Andy. Obviously, give or take, and it's in. Andy is 3 tenths behind Luca, so I believe this is, I think, the closest battle at the moment. And actually, Panos still a second behind there. Kyle actually going to stay with Panos at the moment, actually, because he's going to get the slipstream. Panos is running very little downforce, I think. He's got the slipstream on both Phil and Kyle. Obviously, will he dive up the inside? He's thinking about it. He goes for it. Is he going to stop? Yes, he does, just about. And obviously, Kyle hangs it round the outside as Aiden has retired from the session. But then Kyle has kept it, obviously, back round the outside there. And I'm actually seeing the top two. Obviously 2.5 tenths separating at the top two, with Machine Fishy obviously keeping back. I'd say he's not going to try anything too dangerous, but I think this is quite interesting, and I am believing obviously with that. And there's a virtual safety car, so that may have been Aiden retiring from the session that has caused that. Again, it is a known issue now that it does come out so often. It comes out no matter what happens. If someone retires in the pits, it comes out. If you look at the safety car, then it will, as the machine pop there, has got a drive-through speeding under virtual safety car, obviously for Moss there, so not really what he wants. He was up to 14th at that time, so I think that's his race. Not necessarily ruined, but it's going to be difficult to score points or be anywhere near. I'm actually seeing a bit of, I think Knighton has just been overtaken by Panos at the moment. And obviously DRS has been enabled again. We're actually going to go with, and actually Corey has gone into the pit, so he is pitting straight away. Obviously, I think that was a tactical move there, obviously, but now Matt does have clear space, and there's a Haas coming out of the pits. Dan the Man is coming out, and Andy and Luca, I believe. There we go then. Obviously, if the camera angle works well, and there we go. Luca thinking about going the outside. He's got the DRS wide open. Will he move over to go defensive into turn one? No, he doesn't. And yes, he actually does. Very late there, but nothing to worry about. And there's a McLaren coming up the inside. Risky Racer. He thinks about it. And Andy's sticking it, trying to stick it around the outside of turn one. Not quite making it stick. And now Andy is going to be vulnerable to Risky Racer. Obviously, there's this four-way battle, obviously, for P9 in this race. And there we go. The Toro Rosso thinking about it, but not quite. And there's a Williams obviously trying to get in the action there of J. Luke, thinking about obviously getting up the inside there, and getting very close is J. Luke to Risky Racer there. Need to keep it very clean. Again, it's all about keeping that momentum, and actually J. Luke has lost a bit of momentum through those sections of corners. We're going to go back with Ginger Andy then, obviously down this straight into Ascari. Obviously Luca does go defensive, a bit too early, I'd say there. And I will say as well, as Luca runs it very wide there, nearly spinning it, I must say. And there we go then, Risky Racer right behind Andy. And Machine Fishy, as pitted, same with Matt Tibos. However, I will say at the moment, Corey did come out in clean air as Luca run it very wide there. Probably a bit of understeer. He keeps the position though, and this will prove, I would say, fatal for Luca if he doesn't sweeve there. And there we go. Then we'll actually stay on board with Risky Racer. Ginger Andy thinking about it. And there we go then, Risky Racer thinking about up the inside of Andy. Oh, Luca then, not really what he wants there. And this is very tight, Andy, leaving just about, obviously, that space. And I will say, Matt has jumped Corey then in those pit stops by staying out that one extra lap. Obviously, I think the problem with Corey there was, I think Matt does have the overall pace. I think the slipstream is keeping, obviously, Corey in this. There's a bit of smoke there from Andy. I think that might have been just touching the gravel more than anything, but this is, I believe, the closest battle on the circuit at the moment as Risky Racer getting very, and actually, oh, and that's not going to be, oh, that was close. That was very close. Oh, I think, well, Magic Poop Cannon, as his name is on PSN, nearly costing Matt a potential fight there. We're actually going to go with Phil and Kyle and Panos, then the fight for the lead. Are any of them going to pit this lap? I think Phil is going to pit, as Jack Pitts gets penalty in. Phil pits, Panos pits, Kyle stays out then. And actually we're going to go then at 9th and 10th, the fight for the championship, the fight for the net race lead. Corey holding back actually. Corey knows he's waiting for that DRS, he's waiting to get a better chance of an attack. However, he's running no errs around that final corner, and now he's got into high. Will he go into overtake? Now he goes into overtake. He's got the DRS. Matt doesn't. Matt goes defensive. He stays defensive. Obviously, Corey will have to go around the long way around turn 1. Machine Fishy still a couple attempts behind these guys, and Corey has made it stick there, so that's good for Corey. However, he needs to be very careful of this next, obviously, little shot to the chicane, because it's very easy, obviously, for the car behind to get a slingshot and just dive it up the inside. And you don't want to be on the outside of this next chicane trying to hold it around there. And he thinks about it, Matt. Not quite. He obviously thinks better of it. Obviously, again, Matt needs to have a clean race. You know, we've seen this many times this season where Matt is under pressure. He's having to fight hard, and then he makes mistakes. I mean, look at China, I believe last week or the week before, you know, out of the final hairpin, he was, you know, fighting for that lead. He lost traction and spun it into the wall, and that was his race over with no points. And this is the fight for the championship. It is the fight for the net, you know, podium and the win. You know, they are very close on the circuit. A bit, you know, not as close in the championship, but they are still fighting for the championship. It is only halfway through the season this week is, so I think it's all to play for, and I still think any one of them can win it. Obviously, I think Corey's definitely been the most consistent this season. However, Matt, I think, definitely does has the overall pace. You just need to sort out his consistency more than anything. As there we go then. DRS wide open, obviously, for them. And I think Machine Fishy is going to get a slipstream and actually going to attack then. Obviously, Machine Fishy going to go up the inside as he thinks about it. Oh, and there we go. I thought Machine Fishy was about to lose the back end there. And that's actually allowed Machine Fishy to really go. And here we go then. Matt Tibos going to get this slipstream into the second chicane. Corey does go defensive. Obviously, good for him. He needs to be careful. Don't do a Leclerc. Obviously, Matt going around the outside. Oh, and that was a very good move by Matt Tibos there. Very close. That could have ended in tears. Obviously, if it was not, obviously, you know, might have been very careful there. And then Luca is in the gravel. He was second at that point. But there we go then. Oh, there we go. That was pretty close for Luca, and there is a yellow flag, but that is just Luca recovering to the track. And Corey then having another attack on Matt Tibos in, and and Matt, and both of them have just got a penalty. Corey and Matt has just both got a penalty for, you know, corner cut in there, but they are still fighting. Obviously, good move from Corey on Matt Tibos into Ascari there, but now this is basically allowing Machine Fishy potentially to get another win. Machine Fishy again needs to hold it back. You know, he doesn't want to do anything stupid. He wants to win. I don't know if he'll know that they are, you know, have penalties in front. There we go, Matt Tibos. And they do have traffic coming up ahead of them. They are fighting for position, though. And here we go then. Matt Tibos back up the inside. Corey will hold it around the outside into turn 2. And there we go then. And Matt Tibos is in the gravel, which allows Machine Fishy up to net P2 in this race. So it's getting very tasty there. And will Machine Fishy try and attack Corey into this second chicane? You know, I don't think he needs to risk it. He really does not need to risk it. But I don't think he will know that, that he does have a penalty. And that is a shit camera angle. Apologies there, obviously, for the language. But it is horrendous. And Corey does hold on. And will Andy ahead? He's only 8 tenths ahead of this fight for the lead. Will Andy hold them up, or will he just let them through? Obviously, he's not going to pull out the way and slow down, of course. You know, because Andy is fighting J. Luke. Obviously, J. Luke is only a second ahead of these guys at the moment. But, you know, this front 3 really need to be careful. You know, they don't want to get caught up in any incidents. Obviously, you know, Corey and Tibos have penalties at the moment, as Andy getting very, very squirrely there. And Corey will have Andy and does stay defensive, so I don't think Andy's going to particularly help them or hinder them. But Andy keeps on the inside. This is not going to help Corey there. And Machine Fishy is waiting in the wings for any sort of incidents. But this will allow Corey, as Andy does pit. This does allow Machine Fishy to get a slipstream. DRS is wide open. He goes up the inside. And Matt Tibos then, right behind these two. Matt Tibos is also going to get Corey, and no, he backs out of it. He thinks better of it. Very close. I think he could have made it stick there, to be fair. But Machine Fishy, the championship leader, is up to a net P2, only a second and a half behind J. Luke. And I think J. Luke will probably come in at the end of this lap. And actually, let's take a look at the tyres. We haven't done that as of yet. So everyone, other than Martin, obviously Northant's in P10, everyone is now on the medium tyres. Obviously, so only Martin was the opposite strategist there. I don't think that virtual safety car really helped him. I don't think it really hindered him, to be fair, either. However, a couple laps to go. He's only been on those tyres 2 laps. I think he's probably going to gain a few positions. He's only 1.4 seconds then behind, obviously, the next car, which is Knighton. And I must point out, even though Jack Pearson was doing a bit of sweat earlier, Ginger Andy is still ahead of him by 6 seconds, basically. However, Andy has only just made a pit stop, whereas Jack has been on those tyres for 6 full laps. And the fight for the front, as we can see Machine Fishy then getting a bit of a slipstream from J. Luke. He's not really caught him in a bad spot, I guess. He will have DRS, and this is going to prove difficult if J. Luke wants to pit. If he wants to pit, all right, J. Luke does stay out. I was thinking, they may have wanted to go in the pits there, and as we can see, Corey going past as well. He's going to have the DRS, and that's the worst camera angle ever. And there we go. Corey's going to think up the inside. He goes up the inside. He's going for it. Machine Fish needs to hold it around the outside. He does. Oh, that was very close there. Corey left him absolutely no room through that second apex. But again, Machine Fishy needs to just keep it there, needs to keep it in that position within a few seconds of Corey, and he will win this race. So Corey, keep it tidy, buddy. Keep it smiley. You don't want to make any sort of mistake at all. Obviously, half a second. Well, there's about a second and a half again, covering the top 4 at the moment. And Matt Tibos is wanting to size up J. Luke at the moment. As Machine Fisher then gets a 3-second penalty. So now it is going to be down to whoever finishes first on the road as it stands at the moment. And that's not what Machine Fishy really needed to do. Machine Fishy, all you have to do, I mean, he's the championship leader by a couple of points. I was saying, here we go, Matt Tibos then around the outside of J. Luke. I think J. Luke's tyres are really struggling now. He has been on them. Well, actually, saying that, J. Luke has only been on those tyres 1 lap. Well, 1 lap. Well, actually, no, I was speaking there. 4 laps difference, actually, between those there, as J. Luke does pit. And, at the moment, the front is 6/10 gap at the moment. And there we go then, and actually we're going to fight. See here then, 6th and 7th. Obviously Khalifa got DRS on Panos. Will he go up the inside of turn 1? No, he thinks better. He thinks about it. There we go. Late move. I think he let off the brakes there. Is he going to make it stick? Yes, he does. He crowds Panos out. And obviously Kyle is not far behind now. That move has allowed Panos, or should I say, Kyle, to get right up the gearbox then. Panos does go defensive into the second chicane. Will he hold it around the outside? And I think he's trying to. Panos is holding it in the inside. This could end in tears. Oh, and very clean actually. Oh, bit of contact there, but very clean, I'd say. Forceful, but clean. A bit of wheel banging, but nothing too serious there, as Panos does keep that position. I'll see 4 the time being. Obviously, they've only 1 lap difference, obviously, at the moment. And I must say at the moment, very disappointing for Dan the Man in 18th position. Obviously, he qualified, what, P4 was it? And obviously, he's all the way back down there. Not really the race I think he wanted, to be honest with yourself. But, you know, this is racing. It does happen. And Monza Turn 1 is probably the worst for it. Very easy. Everyone, you know, either goes too cautious, too fast, and it can be chaos. But it was mostly clean. And before we'd even got through the second corner, we'd already had a virtual safety car and 3 attempts. Then here we go. Is Machine Fishy going to go up the inside of Corey? I think he's going to think about it, and he backs out. He thinks better of it. Again, you know, there's a lap and a half to go, or 2 laps to go technically. Obviously, and they both have penalties. The top 3 do have 3-second penalties. So this will be a fight for whoever finishes on the road first will finish ahead on the road and the standings for this race. It's going to be very close, and I think it will get very tasty. And again, I do believe these two in Japan did have an issue when they was fighting for this. And as we see, Panos and Kyle, I believe that is, as Kyle has now made it through on Panos, as Panos there does cut the corner there. But we're going to go back to Machine Fishy then. DRS is going to be wide open, and I think potentially Machine Fishy will probably wait until the final lap, so he knows that there's going to be no obviously possible chance for Corey. Corey gets a bit of a corner cut there. He does not get a penalty though. He needs to be very careful of that, because one more penalty for Corey and it will have an impact on the race results there, and it is pretty much 6 to 7 tenths covering the top 3. And here we go then, come around the final corner on to the final lap, and Corey gets a bit of an oversteer moment there. That will not help his exit, and look at this, Machine Fishy is going to have a good run out this final corner. As there we go then, DRS wide open, and Corey goes defensive very late. Obviously this is going to allow Corey to have the inside though. Machine Fishy should go defensive, and he does go defensive very slightly there, but now he needs to keep it very clean. You know, he needs to go defensive where he needs to. I think Machine Fishy will play the defensive game now. Again, there's only a couple more overtaking spots down into Ascari and through Parabolica, obviously, which is the ideal overtaking spots, as the top 3 still separated by a second at present. You know, Machine Fishy, he's got this, you know. And actually, look at this. 6 tenths at the moment. Obviously, Corey has had a bad run through that middle chicane. And he's now having to go defensive as well to Matt Tibos, who is in P3 again, as I've said 1,000 times. Whoever finishes ahead on the track will finish in that position. Obviously, at the moment, they all have penalties. Phil is nowhere near, he's 7 seconds behind, but I think he'll be very happy. Dan the Man has retired from the race. Obviously, that was on the exit of Ascari where these guys come in. And Corey's got another penalty, so Matt Tibos is going to finish in P2 if it stays like this. And Machine Fishy is going to win this race, bar any accident at the final corner, of course. So that's going to be a good result yet again for Machine Fishy. He is leading the title, obviously, before this race. And I think he'll be very happy with that. And here we go. He goes very defensive, takes a very tight line through the final corner, and Machine Fishy wins yet again. And he has actually crashed across the line, so that was very lucky for him there. I think he actually crashed before he got to the line. So luckily, there was enough of a gap to P2, which was Matt Tibos in the end, to actually still win that. So, a dangerous game there, Machine Fishy, a dangerous game to play indeed. We saw Khalifa do that in Sport last season, and he was a fraction, obviously, before the line, and he did not win because of it. And here we go then, we're going to go back down. There's actually not really a battle going on. And obviously, J. Luke is the closest battle there. And yeah, that is that is the pretty much the race done, as Luca has somehow lost his wing out of Ascari on the final lap, and he's not fighting anyone. So, an interesting tactic there from Luca. I think he's trying to get his car damaged so the stewards don't look into his underweight car potentially. Bit suspicious that from Luca Chiapelli there, but Luca does come round the final corner there, and he probably bin it across the line, and yes, he does as well. So there's 2 Renaults there, as you can see, side by side across the line, missing their wheels. So I think the team are not going to be happy with that. I think they might need to replace the drivers next season. They might be fast, but if they're not going to, finish the races, then I think Renault need to look at their drivers. They clearly do. First you have to finish, and there we go then. Obviously, Machine Fishy in the Renault. Obviously, Matt Tibos finishing in P2, and somehow magically, the Renault is in Parc Ferme, but it's missing a wheel. So that's an interesting one. That must have been a heroic effort by the team to somehow get that into Parc Ferme within the span of 2 seconds from the camera cutting. So yeah, that was that was a very interesting, and I do believe Jay Luke got the fastest lap in that race on the very last lap there. And here we go then. Here are the results for this race. We see Machine Fishy winning by a very small margin, I would say. Obviously going on that. 8 tenths. Corey, P3, I think he'll be very disappointed with that. Phil, a lonely P4, 5 seconds off. Khalifa, I think he'll be happy with that. You know, he's there or thereabouts. I guess Jay Luke, or Kyle, should I say, P6. Panos, P7, a good battle, obviously, throughout the race for him. Knighton, P8, Risky Racer, P9, obviously some points there for Risky and Knighton. Martin, obviously Northlands P10, J Luke P11, obviously, however, he is outside the top 10, so there'll be no fastest lap point there. Ginger Andy P12, just outside the points. I think he'll be a bit disappointed, only 5 to 6 seconds behind the point. Paul P13, Robo Jeep 14, Mr. Chiapelli 15, obviously Moss, obviously P16, obviously Estonian, of course, obviously with that. So that was your Monza race, and it was actually a very entertaining race, which I'm very happy with. Very, very happy with. Obviously with that, so that is absolutely fan-dabidozy. So that was very, very good. And the points then after Monza. Fishy is now on 136 points. Corey is still in P2 in the championship on 113. Matt Tibos is on 107, so that gap has extended after that race, of course. Khalifa is on 89, so he's still in touching distance, but you know, it's slowly getting further and further away, of course. Knighton on 71 and Aidan Griffins still on 69 after, I would say, potentially rage quitting that race. He did get damage, I think, after turn 1. And then he did spin, I believe, obviously, but not a good race for him. I think he needs to look at himself, get that consistency back up, obviously, for future races. And Australia is a very difficult one to get that consistency if you're having a bit of a mare. Very easy to spin it, to take too much speed into a corner, or even get a corner cut penalty as well. So I think people need to be very careful around here, obviously, with this race. So, but hopefully it's another dry race. Obviously in TGP1, and I will say, if you do want to take a look, go on the TGP Twitter page, or even go on TGP's website. Yes, again, it does have a website. Very surprising that. It's a quite nice website, actually. A very nice website, I will point out there. And I also will point out, I do believe Ginger Andy yet again beat Jack in that race. So Jack's not having a very good one. So Jack's very struggling. And also, the newcomer, I must point out as well, the new boy, Magic Poop Cannon, also known as Moss, in his first TGP race, I think his first league race since F1 2013, also beat Jack Pearson. So, Jack Pearson, sort it out. You are rubbish. You are rubbish. So, as we gear up then for Australia, obviously round 10, obviously we've got 10 seconds before the session starts. Is it going to be dry? Is it going to be wet? We are going to find that out in just a short few seconds, but we I hope it's dry. I mean, come on, I don't really like wet races when I'm driving them because the force feedback is horrendous on 2019, but, racing in the dry is so much more fun. It's so much closer. So much better in general there, and to be fair, I don't want any unsuspecting weather. I want it to be dry every single race for the rest of the season, as long as the top 3 are just as close. If they're there that close for the rest of the season, I will be absolutely happy. But we'll see. I don't think it will be dry for the rest of the season, but you never know with Codemasters games. You really don't. But it's looking spicy no matter what what way you spin it, really. Obviously the top 3 in terms of pace wise are very, very close, which is good to see. I think last season me and Matt were, I wouldn't say a league above everyone else, because that is definitely the wrong terminology, but in terms of consistency at the front, we did pull away a bit, but it's good to see 3 to 4 people, and it is actually chucking it down. I think this will be full wet tyres. This will be full wet tyres, absolutely, in Australia. So we didn't have an Australian Grand Prix this year in 2020. We're having one in TGP tonight. So I might use the hashtag Australian Grand Prix 2020. Might get a lot more views there, but it is a drier race, so it's chucking it down for qualifying, but it is absolutely dry for this race. So an interesting one. Will people go for a wet setup? I think round here, again, 4, 5, 6 wings. that's what you'd run in the dry anyway. So I think it's not going to be, at least wing level, it's not going to be a massive difference compared to what people usually run. However, the fact that it is full wet conditions, that will, I think, have an impact there. If it was Inter tyres, I think if it was Inter's, people would probably stick to a completely dry setup, but full wet, it's another story. I think you definitely want, especially at Australia, you want that grid position anyway. I definitely think it's more important to get a quali position here than, as we can actually see then, as Kyle nearly losing it on the exit turn 2. It must be that wet. There is no grip at all there. And we can see then it definitely looks very, very treacherous out here. And we'll see, really. We will see. And actually, we're going to go with Corey, really. See how he's dealing with these conditions on his outlap. He seems to be dealing with okay. I think he might have quite a bit of downforce on that Alfa Romeo, and I don't blame him, to be fair. I think wet conditions, you definitely want a bit more downforce. I think it's probably better to sacrifice around Australia. Definitely sacrifice straight line speed just to get that extra downforce in qualifying, because it's not going to have a huge effect come the race. Just because you want to get through those corners fast anyway. And I must say, coming up to this fast chicane in the dry, it's very easy just to lose your rear end anyway. So I think that extra downforce isn't going to be too bad, I guess. It's going to help in some ways, hindering others. But it's going to be interesting to see who went for dry, who went for wet. But here we go then. Obviously, who is that ahead? That is a Haas ahead, I believe. And there is only one Haas, and that is Dan the Man. So that is Dan the Man ahead. Obviously, Corey having a bit of a backup there, just so he doesn't get held up, doesn't get any spray. He wants to be fully focused in these wet conditions, and I don't blame him, to be fair. Bit of a dry line on the main straight, but it's definitely full wet conditions at the moment. And here we go then, down into turn 1. 100 metre board, probably break a bit earlier, just so you know you're going to make the corner in these wet conditions. Nice as you like through turn 1, up the gears. Very easy just to lose the rear end on the exit there. Coming into turn 3, again about the 100 metre board. You try and take a late apex. Short shift from 2nd to 3rd if you can. We're actually going to get the counter up. Obviously, at the moment, half throttle through that next corner, the car park area. Avoid the curb on the right hand side through this corner because it can unsettle the car. Next one, very unseen. Brake, obviously about the 100 metre board, 70 metre board, well, 70 metres. There's no 70 metre board, of course, but it's all a bit of oversteer there. Obviously, very easy to lose it. Brake as this barrier ends on the left hand side. Ride this curb. Doesn't ride it as much as I probably would, but again, wet conditions, things do change. Usually try and ride that curb a lot more. To straighten out the exit. Traction is very difficult. Here's the fast chicane then. Obviously, cut the entry as much as you can. Avoid cutting the right-hander and avoid that curve on the left. Bit of oversteer through the mid-corner there, but nothing to worry about. It was fastest in the first sector as well, I believe. Obviously, with that then. And final 2 corners. Turn in. Very, very careful. Obviously into that corner. Obviously Dan the Man looks like he's struggling ahead on those full wet conditions, and obviously the full wet tyres there as Corey comes around the final corner, as Carl does set the fast lap. Only person to set a lap at the moment. We've got 2 cars coming right behind him, obviously on there, and Dan the Man goes fastest, and then Corey also then goes fastest on a 36.2, pretty much 2 seconds quicker than anyone else, as Machine Fishy has just done a 36.9. Matt Tibos is out on a flying lap, I believe, as well. Yes, he is. So that's obviously good there. Obviously, through the chicane. Again, be very careful. Obviously, nice and easy. He doesn't cut it, so that is fantastic. We're also going to see what his, I believe his, well, I don't even know. It's not actually showing his sector times anyway. Sadly, so we don't know whether he's up or not. There's nothing purple on the right-hand side as of yet. But we'll see as he crosses the line, as Khalifa goes P4 and Paul in. Obviously, the other Ferrari goes in to P5 at the moment. So it's all looking pretty close at the front, or for the people who have set lap times. But Matt Tibos then not taking too much grip. I think he got a bit of a tank slapper out the final corner and across the line. And Matt Tibos currently goes P1 on a 35.8, so about 4 tenths quicker currently than Corey. Obviously, a good banker for Matt Tibos. And I do say, and I must say, I think that's Matt Tibos's weakness this season. I'm not too sure what it is, but he usually leaves it very late to get a lap in, and then the pressure's on, and he seems to be buckling under that pressure, which is, I think everyone, no matter where you are, no matter who you are, you're going to make mistakes under pressure, to be honest with yourself. And let's just take a look then. There we go. So let's just take a look to see if anyone's on lap times. We'll go on board with Andy, who I believe is on a fast lap at the moment. But yeah, so I think that is an issue with Matt, to be honest with yourself. So let's take a look then. And Ginger Andy's getting a bit of a slipstream from Panos. Not really wants slipstream, to be fair. As with a yellow flag. I think that's Luca knows. I think it's Machine Fishy. No, it's Machine Fishy in the pits. Okay, so I think everyone's pretty much done their lap. Obviously, Jay Luke, I think, is on a lap at the moment. Obviously, his Waze has finally joined for the second race, and Jay Luke is completing his lap. And actually, I must say at the moment, as Risky Racer has just got a 5-second grid penalty for collision with Knighton there. So, Jay Luke goes up into P6 then on his lap. A lot of people will have fueled the car up, I would think, for this first few runs. And then the final run, obviously the last run that they will do, they will take all the fuel out and go for one last effort. But at the moment, I think everyone is on in-laps. And let's just take a look to see. And yeah, I think Machine Poop Cannon or Magic Poop Cannon is the only one on a flying lap at the moment. Everyone else looks like they are on in-laps or in the pits. So let's just take a look where Magic Poop Cannon can go, and I don't think that name will ever get old, to be honest with yourself. I really don't. It's an interesting name. I'm not too sure why he chose that name. I'm surprised it's even allowed on PlayStation, to be honest with yourself. I remember there was one guy called The Soft Cock that I remember on F1 2010, which was quite interesting. I'm surprised that was allowed as well. But Machine Poop Cannon does come into the pits then. And well, let's just take a look. Is there anyone on flying laps at the moment? I think everyone is on in laps. Dan the Man has, for some reason, done 3 laps, so he's definitely obviously longing out. Khalifa obviously is in P3 at the moment, about a second off there. And let's just take a look then. Luca, I think, is a second up on his time. He's got Ginger Andy ahead of him. Bit of overstay there for Luca. Needs to be very careful of that again. You try and ride that entry curb a bit more, straighten out the exit. But let's take a look then. I think he might have lost quite a lot of time there. And now he's actually gained another 2/10, I believe, as Risky Race then has just got another penalty with Jay Luke. So I'm not too sure what Risky Race is up to in tonight's race. He needs to sort that out pronto, and that will not be accepted. But then let's focus on the racing itself. As a bit of oversteer there for Luca. Obviously, very easy to get oversteer, getting on the power a bit too much. Obviously, through these sections, very slow. But Luca is getting a bit of a slipstream from Andy. Not really what you want, to be honest. Obviously, the spray's probably hindering him. And as we can see, he's getting a bit out of shape there. But it's definitely going to be an improvement on his current time, which is a 38.9. And that should put him at around the 10th place mark. And he does go bang on 10th place, 37.8 there. Obviously, so he's only a second off, or never mind. Obviously, because I think Matt Tibos is actually... No, he's a couple seconds off, never mind. I'm talking absolute rubbish as Risky Racer has left the session. So, obviously, not sure if he disconnected or quit there. And let's just take a look then. So, Robo Jeep is finishing a lap, I believe. And where does he go? Robo Jeep only moves up 1 position. So, let's take a look then. Who's further around? Obviously, I think Panos is further around them. So let's take a look then. 15th place currently for Panos. Obviously 38.9 currently. He needs a massive improvement to be anywhere near the front. But it is wet. It may dry up. Obviously the change in conditions all the time. Your grip levels are changing all the time as well. So you never know. Things could change. I remember many seasons ago, people thought it was over. Obviously, somebody decided to go on the dry tyres, and it paid off. And that person was Phil Bargewell of Austria. And I believe that is the biggest pole position margin in TGP1 history. I think it was over 2 seconds. No, it was at least over a second. But I definitely believe it was 2 seconds or so. And I think Panos is actually on an outlap. Yes, he is. So we'll see what he can do on his flying lap. Quite a lot of drivers are on outlaps at the moment. Kyle's on an outlap. Jay Luke's on an outlap. Paul's on an outlap. Phil's now on an outlap. Panos is on an outlap. And Magic Poop Cannon is on an outlap. As Corey has actually just set the fastest time by 2 and a bit tenths. As Panos then starts his lap. Obviously, can he keep it clean into turn 1? Bit wide at turn 1. That's going to cost him a bit of time on the exit and down the straight. Obviously, into turn 3, of course, there's a yellow flag. That's just slow people driving. And let's see then. Obviously, I think a few issues for some people in this lobby. I think with decent cars. I'm hearing on team radio Jack Pearson moaning again as always about something or other. But obviously, I think he's saying that someone else's car is on the circuit when it actually is not. So that will be an interesting talking point at the end. Obviously, possibly a bit of lag going on, but nothing a bit of racing doesn't sort out. As Aiden has just completed another lap. He is in P3 at the moment on 36.1. So he's not too far off at all. There's McLaren obviously out of the way there. And here we go into this chicane. Does he keep it nice and clean? Yes, he does. Running a bit of the curb there. Avoid caught in this one. Avoid the exit as well on the curb. Very easy to lose it. And pole position at the moment is a 35.6. Obviously, 2 attempts as Matt Tibos is now in the pits, as we can see on the left-hand bar. But we're going to stay with Panos at the moment. Obviously, as he comes around the final few corners. Again, he's in 15th on a 38.9. Very, very far off the top guys at the moment. Panos this season has actually shown a few bits of pace as Corey then sets another fastest lap to go considerably quicker than Matt Tibos. And then here we go there. Panos over the line and he improves to P7. So there we go. That's more like it. That is definitely more like it. I like to see it. I bloody do. But here we go then. Kyle on his flying lap currently in P8. Again, everyone is on the wet tyres, as you can see on the left-hand side bar. I think you'd be crazy to go on inters in this, and even crazier to go on to dries, because you would be in a barrier faster than you can say barrier. So then, obviously, 5 minutes to go in qualifying. Obviously, this qualifying seems like it's gone on forever. I think it's just because it's so wet, and Carl then is up by 4 and a bit tenths on his current time. So if he does improve, he'll go to, I think he'll only jump up 1 position, maybe 2, if he gets his final sector. Obviously, final sector right there. His teammate getting out of the way, which is obviously good to see there. Dan the Man has gone up to P4 and he is in the pits. Obviously, but we'll see. Missing the apex there is Kyle, a bit understeer. Then obviously Phil is in P12. He just finished his lap. And here we go then, Kyle across the line. Where does he go? Where does he improve? Does he improve by much or not? He only improves by 1 position, but he did gain 4 tenths, and he only improved by 1 position. So that's a bit of a hard one to swallow there for Kyle. And who else is on laps? Obviously, Risky Racer. Obviously, rejoined, missing his wing, so he's made another mistake. Mr. Chiapelli then is on a flying lap, not long started. Into turn 3 he goes. Brake, and he does have a Williams right behind him, who I do believe is also on a lap of... Oh, and he's actually lost it there. Luca has. Not really what he wanted. Needs a big improvement. He's only got 3 minutes. I would definitely say at this point for Luca, go in the pits, take all your fuel out, and go for one final run. So, we will see then who is about to start a flying lap. Knighton is coming around the final few corners to start one. We're actually going to go with Matt Tibos as he's about to come on to his potentially last to second to last run and second to last lap potentially. Obviously, currently in P2. A fair way off Corey, but I do believe Corey has been doing a fair amount of sweat for these races tonight. You wouldn't have expected it with Machine Fishy being so close and Matt Tibos being so close, but we'll see. Can Matt Tibos improve and get a pole position again? Seems like he took that first corner perfectly fine. A lot of curb on the entry. That is what you need to do. Very easy to overrun the second part. Obviously, turn 2 into turn 3 he goes. Can he keep it nice and straight? Yes, he does. Not out of shape in the slightest, which is good to see. Obviously, nice and good then. Avoiding obviously the sausage curb on the right hand side. Going to avoid this curb on the right hand side on the left hand side of the screen. Obviously, it will unsettle the car. Next corner, bit of a dry line there, not too many puddles. Rides that curb, bit of oversteer, I believe, there for Matt Tibos going through that corner. He may have got the grass on the entry, a bit of grass there, clearly, according to the spectator cam. His teammate is getting out of the way, riding a lot of curb there, Matt Tibos says. Again, that's what you need to do. And actually, Matt Tibos has invalidated his lap, so I believe that is his qualifying over, and I believe he may have invalidated it on that corner just a moment ago. So that's Matt Tibos's, or Matt Tibos, however you want to say it. And actually, we've got a few people on the Inters. So Risky, Speed Knighton, and RoboJeep. And actually, RoboJeep's on an outlap on the Inter. So let's just take a look to see what the grip's like at the moment. I think that's a risky move, to be honest with yourself. But, you know, he's got nothing to lose. He's last at the moment on 40.8. So, may as well, I guess. May as well. And Jack Pearson then goes into P12 just a moment ago on 37.3. Obviously, outside the top 10, so he can stop. Obviously, stop on his line there. And I believe Aiden in the Red Bull is getting held up by the McLarens. So not really what you want. I think you probably will report that if that was the case. But again, I will say, and I stress it enough, stewards take care of everything. You know, that is the way it is, as Magic Poop Cannon has retired and RoboJeep did get a bit of a wiggle outside on his outlap, really. I definitely don't think it's Inters. He's actually spun it into turn 1 or turn 2, should I say. So yeah, so let's see then. Corey starting his lap. He is on the wets, which is definitely the right call. Anyone on the Inters is just silent at the moment. It's not the correct decision, but I think RoboJeep he had nothing to lose, to be honest with yourself. Phil has, obviously, well, Phil is in P4 at the moment. Aiden in the sister team is in P3 as Dan the Man goes up to P4. Obviously of Dan the Man. But then Corey then has got a bit of he's got Luca ahead of him. Luca gets out of the way. I think Luca's having a bit of his own trouble rather than getting out of the way on purpose, to be honest with yourself. But here we go then. Corey, will he get this corner right? Will he take a lot of curb? He avoids the curb quite a lot and avoids the curb on the exit as well. So he's taking it very gingerly as J. Luke has retired. And actually, Machine Fishy, we've just missed it, has gone into P2 as we're watching Corey, of course. And Corey has set a fastest purple middle sector and he's just completely cut that corner, and the game did not register it. So that was an interesting one by the spectator cam there, and that is for Dom Smith, I will point out, because he thinks spectator cams are accurate, which they're not, as Matt Tibos moves out the way there, stays out the way of Corey. But we'll see then. Corey is on pole position at the moment anyway by a considerable margin. Actually, Aiden's gone into P2 on a 35.7. Matt Tibos is down to P4, not what he wants, especially around Australia. But he is very good around Australia, so we'll see. But Corey then coming around the final corner and across the line. And does he improve? Yes, he does by a 2 tenths really. So that is on pole by 7 tenths as Aiden has crashed, I believe, on the exit of turn 5, I believe, as well, joining his teammate. So that's interesting, and I believe that is qualifying pretty much over. Is Machine Fishy on a flying lap? We'll stay on board with him though, just to see. He says his tyres have done 1 lap, but he may be going for a second, but we'll see there. But at the current, Corey is on pole position by a full 7 tenths, which is a good big gap. But here we go then. So Machine Fishy clearly looks like he is on a flying lap. Will he improve? Will he get past Aiden to P2? Will he go pole? He goes P2 on a 35.6. Obviously, it's still 6 and a bit tenths, or 5 to 6 tenths. Obviously there, and that is pretty much your qualifying done and dusted for Australia. So that is the qualifying done for tonight's races. It's now just down to the racing itself and going on this season so far. And the last race, hopefully it's very spicy and tasty. Sadly, I don't like spicy food. I don't actually like spicy food, but I do like spicy racing. And I will actually say, shout out to Jack Pearson. He's pulled his finger out his ass. He's out-qualified Ginger Andy for once. Well done, Jack Pearson. Now you just need to finish ahead of him in the race instead, which you probably won't do because you'll bottle it somehow and get 1,000 penalties. So good luck with that. Good luck with that. But that is, again, your qualifying over for Australia. We'll wait and see them. And here we go. Here is the grid. Corey, 5.5 tenths ahead of Machine Fishy in P2. Aidan Griffin's a fantastic P3 there. He did get blocked, I think, on one of his last runs, so I think he could have improved there. Matt Tibos, P4, 7 tenths off. I think I'd be very disappointed with that. Khalifa P5, Dan the Man in P6, Phil Bardwell P7, Kyle P8, J Luke P9, Panos P10, Paul McGee in P11. He can have a fresh set of tyres, start on whatever he wants. Same with everyone, really. Risky Racer P12. He did have a penalty there, so he will be dropping down that order at the start of the race. Jack Pearson then will move up. Knighton P14, Ginger Andy P15, Mr. Cheetah Play 16, Magic Poop Cannon, of course, in P17, out qualifying the last of the runners. Obviously, Robojeep in P18. But again, this race is going to be dry, I will point out. So it's all to play for. I think, the biggest one, I think, out of the front runners is Matt Tibos. He needs to, get ahead of the cars in front. I think he can do it. He's always very fast round here, but clearly the competition this season are also just as fast, as we can see with the title chances and the title fight at present. So I think it's going to be an interesting one to see what can be done from P4. Everyone, though, because it was wet, can start on whatever tyres they want. So it's going to be an interesting one to see what compounds people choose, especially at the front. Will anyone go for an opposite strategy? I think it's a massive risk around here to go opposite strategy, go on the harder tyres first, because the walls are so close. There's going to be a safety car of some sort, or a virtual safety car. Tyre wear, it's not hugely bad around here, but it's not amazing either, so I think it will be a massive risk. And here we go, the lights on, 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, and the 5th light, and when they go out, it'll be racing. And there we go then, a good start there, no jump starts for anyone on the screen there, as Corey does get a good start. Matt Tibos thinking about up the inside of Aiden, but Aiden does keep, obviously, ahead there. Obviously, Matt Tibos then, obviously getting pushed out, actually. He's losing a bit of time, Matt Tibos, and we've got Dan the Man up the inside of him as well. Obviously, Dan the Man backs out of it there. Is with the Red Bull of Aiden Griffins. And, Machine Fishy, and there's a safety car. Oh, no. Machine Fishy has actually hit the back of Corey because of that safety car. I think Corey hit the brakes instantly, and Machine Fishy had no time to think about that. So that could potentially go to the stewards as well there. So that's not good for Machine Fisher there. Corey slammed on the brakes when the safety car came out. Machine Fisher had nowhere to go or no time to react. Aiden Griffins does not have damage. Does anyone else have damage? Matt Tibos, I don't think, does either. So that's obviously good for him. I think it was only Machine Fishy out of the front guys who has damage because of that. So let's just take a look. And I am hearing on the team radio that Ginger Andy and Phil are trying to use a bit of teamwork there. Phil is trying to tell Andy to pick this lap and follow his lead. Andy is thinking, no, I don't want to do that. I've just gained so many positions off the start. I want to stay out. Of course, I'd have to queue, but it is behind the safety car. I honestly don't think, I honestly, it's hard. It's hard to really say. And Aiden then has pitted, I think, quite a few cars. Corey's pitted, Machine Fishy is pitted for a new front wing. He may as well. And actually, the 2 cars ahead are sort of side by side. So that's actually cost Aiden Griffins on my screen. He came to a complete stop there. Yeah. So yeah, obviously it was correct on the camera that I am hearing. Machine Fishy will be getting a brand new front wing. I think Aiden is getting held quite a lot. Obviously Aiden, he's losing out a lot of positions there, obviously due to the queues. And Matt Tibos has jumped Aiden Griffin, so Aiden has lost out, and I think he's not going to be happy with that. And Matt Tibos is going to be saying thank you very much. But that is dangerous. You need to be careful when it comes to these stops. Just because you're at the front, everyone can very easily lose positions by just pitting there. So that's not what you want. And again, we've got the midfield runners in the front. We've got Dan the Man, Ginger Andy, Panos, Jack Pearson. Obviously in the top 4, they have not pitted, of course. However, the top guys have pitted. So Corey then is in P5 currently. Matt Tibos is in P6. Aiden is in P7. Machine Fishy is down in P10, of course, because he had to change his front wing. Andy probably got held up as well there. So not a good start for Machine Fishy. Obviously the championship leader by a fair few points. Again, I definitely think that safety car needs to be looked at by the stewards on the basis of Corey did, I think, slam on the brakes as far as it looked like on the exit of a corner. And I think potentially Aiden may also report that as well. I'm not too sure who's going to report what. If anyone reports it, it entirely depends, obviously, on if people do want to take a look into it. But we shall see. So then, safety car, I think it will stay out for another lap, definitely, because you see a Renault there going on a bit of grass, and that's Machine Fishy. He's rearing to go. And actually, let's just take a look then at the tyres everyone's on. The front four, I must point out again, have not pitted as of yet. They are still on their soft tyres from P5 all the way to P14. Obviously, they are on the mediums, of course. Robojeep is gone the opposite strategy. He's gone on the softs. I think that's a dangerous move. I don't think the softs will last that long. I think maybe one or two people might jump in the pits again just to try and obviously get another fresh set of tyres. And I think, yeah, Magic Poop Cannon is on the hards in the pit, so he has made another pit stop. I think he's going to change from hards to potentially mediums or softs. I think mediums are the better option there. Obviously with that. So then, lap 3 of 15. We've had not much racing so far. We got to turn 3 before the safety car came out. Obviously Machine Fishy has got a bit of wing damage, or did have before he pitted, and a lot of people pitted. Most of the field pitted, so that's going to be good as... well, I'm not sure that. I think Luca just got a penalty because Jack Pearson's car is lagging on his screen. Even though Jack Pearson's in P4 and Luca is in P17. Not sure how that works, so that's I think that definitely will get taken off anyway if he sees it there. But yeah, that's an interesting one from the game again there. But we'll see. Again, we'll see what everything happens. So the safety car, I think, is staying out for now, of course, halfway through this lap. I think it will probably come in this lap, so, we'll see in just a couple seconds' time. I think a few drivers are weaving, and yep, safety car is in this lap. We're actually going to go with, let's just say, Matt Tibos. Obviously, the fight for first on the road. And the question is, Aiden is right behind this. Aiden is fighting for this win potentially. Will Jack Pearson in P4 try and hold Corey and Matt Tibos up to allow Aiden Griffins? It's a very dangerous move because, again, there could be contact. One of them could spin into Aiden and it could all be nothing. But I think Jack Pearson potentially will try and hold the front guys up to assist his teammate as everyone slows down there. Obviously, very, very slow. People need to be careful of not hitting the brakes and slowing up too quickly. Let off the throttle and gradually decrease the speed there. And we'll see then who will come out on top of this race. Who will get the restart right. We've got Dan the Man in the front in the Haas, followed by Ginger Andy, obviously, and they are away. Obviously, Corey there and Matt getting very close. And, ooh, Corey getting very oversteery on the exit. And that is allowed the gap for Jack Pearson to pull away. Obviously, that is and here we go then. Aiden, on Matt Tibos. Will he go around the outside? He's thinking about it. He's thinking about it. He backs out. Very smart from Aiden there again. You're not going to win the race from one move alone. You need to make it to the end of the races. Here we go then. Matt is defensive. Aiden up the outside. Matt breaks a lot later and keeps that position. Good fight in there as actually Panos is coming under pressure from Jack Pearson just ahead of these guys as well. So I think Jack is wanting to get a move on. However, again, the top four is still yet to pit. But we'll see what they do. Will they hold up this pack fight for the leaders? Robojeep has retired, as you can see, on the exit of turn 4 to turn 5. Will that be a safety car? I don't think it will come out so quickly, of course, after just coming in, but there are yellow flags, of course. And here we go then. Jack Pearson on Panos, as we can see, for 3rd and 4th then, and Panos does keep ahead for the time being. Jack Pearson has spun it, and there we go then. There we go. What did I say? It nearly takes out his teammate, as I did say, and there is a virtual safety car now, thanks to that. So I think that was actually, I think Luca potentially spinning and retiring there, or that was Robojeep. I think it was Luca, Mr. Chiapelli's DNF there that brought out that virtual safety car. Will anyone feel the need to pit yet again? The cars are very close. If you do pit, you're still going to come out at the back. I don't think. And Andy and Dan have pitted side by side, as you can see in the pits there, just at the top of the screen. And the virtual safety car has ended. Corey has set the fastest lap. Matt Tibos is right behind him again. However, he's up the inside of Panos, and now Corey has in the lead again, and obviously Panos then and Matt Tibos side by side into turn 3. Will Panos go defensive. Matt Tibos up the inside. A bit of contact there, but I think that was just the spectator cam. And will Aiden get past him as quick as the other two? And Aiden goes around the outside of that corner there, off the circuit, I think. But yeah, and there we go then. Panos has kept that position. This is helping Matt Tibos pull away from it. I think Aiden does have some good pace around here. Last season, he did qualify a very respectable 3rd position, I believe, and he finished P2 on the road. So Aiden needs to clear, obviously, the racing point, as he does have Carl right behind him as well. Then it is a bit of a train behind them again. It's not a train forming because there has been a virtual safety car, so there was never not a train, as it were. But we'll see. They need to be careful. Aiden needs to be careful. Don't push too hard. Don't make any silly mistakes. He has been making a lot of mistakes this season, which is, it's cost him a lot. As we can see right behind, actually, I think there was a move there by Khalifa on Machine Fishy. Obviously, Machine Fishy is up to P7, though. As we can see then, Aiden right behind Panos. However, I do believe, as Corey sets the fast lap yet again, a 1.7 second lead Corey has at present, but I do believe I am hearing that Aiden is on the radio saying that Panos has got a lot of straight line speed, so he's got that straight line. I think he went for that fully dry setup, which is obviously paying off for him at this moment in time, of course. But then he needs to be careful, Aiden does, because he's got Kyle only 2 tenths behind him, and quite a few cars. One mistake at this point in the race, and you'll be losing a lot of race positions. But Machine Fishy then right behind Khalifa, the championship leader, down in P7 after having to go into the pits and change his wing. But he needs to be very careful of these track limits, of course. You don't want to get any sort of penalties here, especially if you're so far back. And the cars are so close, one penalty can drop you 3 to 4 positions. And here we go then. He's got a better exit, I think. No, not quite. There is a yellow flag, I think, as there is. I think Waze has spun it in the first sector. Nothing to worry about, though. There is no safety car. It was just a yellow flag. I think Machine Fishy being very, very cautious here. Bearing in mind, though, Khalifa will have DRS on the car ahead. As you can see, the wing is open. So I think it's it's a stalemate at the moment in terms of slipstream and straight line speed. But it's these two guys. Khalifa, even though he's had quite a few poor races of recent, he's still in the championship hunt. So I don't think he's going to want to let Machine Fishy go quite so easily. And I think Khalifa has got some very good straight line speed. And actually, Aiden has passed Panos then, and Aiden, I do believe, has DRS failure as well, and he does. As you can see, Aiden on the right hand side, the DRS symbol is there, but no DRS. Not what he wants at this point. I think in the Renault days last season, the Renault boys did have a lot of, me and Aiden did have a lot of DRS failures. And there we go then, right behind Panos is coming under threat by Kyle. Kyle up the inside, bit of contact there, and Panos is off. Not sure if that was a lag or what, but not good for Panos there. He's dropped quite a few positions, obviously fighting for P4 all the way down to P9. And I am hearing that Aiden's DRS is stuck open. On my screen, though, it does look shut. So I am hearing Aiden's DRS is stuck open. It is wrong on the spectator cam. So that is that's not the one there. It's Fishy and Khalifa then side by side into this fast chicane. Machine Fishy is up the inside there. And Khalifa keeping that position for the time being. And I am hearing, though, Aiden is complaining on the radio that his DRS is definitely stuck open compared to the spectator cam where it is shut. But yeah, he's saying that. And there we go then. Machine Fishy up the position there, up to P5. Now he just needs to close it on cart. And I think Aiden, I think he's definitely going to cost Aiden a podium, to be honest with yourself. If he cannot, I mean, that fast chicane is sketchy at the best of times, let alone with DRS stuck open. I had this in Austria last season as well. My DRS was stuck open in TGP1. I think it actually helped me for the most part, especially since it's fast straights. Well, I think every straight is fast, to be honest with yourself, but it did hinder me in the final sector. But it wasn't too bad, I guess. But through this fast chicane, you definitely do not want that in the slightest. And Speed Knight and then is actually right behind Khalifa now, only 2 seconds or 2 tenths, should I say. I think this is pretty much the closest battle on the circuit. Jack Pearson has just made a pit stop, as you can see on the map, as well as Waze has. Or, well, Waze has not made a pit stop, but he's not far there. And we'll actually take a look at this. So, Carl is 1.4 seconds behind Aiden at present, as we see Risky Racer and J Luke going at it. for P11 and P12. However, Aiden is 1.4, 1.5 seconds ahead of Kyle. Let's see if he closes. And actually, you can see as Phil, I think, has crashed. There we go. At the fast chicane, as we just saw then. He's kept it going, missing half of his wing. So that's, I think, any chance of points over for Phil, unless there is another safety car. Obviously, which there's always a possibility there. And then 4th and 5th then, DRS wide open for Machine Fishy. Kyle does not have DRS this time. He does go defensive. Will Machine Fishy is, I believe somebody has pitted. Panos has pitted. So that's another place for Machine Fishy. It is P5. But here we go, the Machine Fishy. Will he go up the inside? He's got the DRS open. Kyle does not go too defensive. Machine Fishy up the inside. Nice as you like. Runs him off the... Well, doesn't he run him off the road? He sort of... a bit of contact there, but nothing too serious, I'd say. But that is Machine Fishy recovery drive up to P4. And now I believe Machine Fishy will really rake in Aiden Griffins with that DRS issue. I think there's a lot of frantic radio calls between Aiden and his team to try and get this fixed. I don't really know what they can do, to be honest with yourself, out on the circuit. If it gets stuck open, it gets stuck open. I think, was it Ferrari back in 2013? Where their DRS did get stuck open. Or was it Mercedes? It was one of them where the DRS got stuck open, and that's not what you want. I think it was Bahrain, 2012 actually, if I remember correctly. My memory is terrible, so don't count that. And actually, J. Luke and Risky Racer has actually Risky Racer spun it at the fast chicane, so that was not an overtake. That it was a simple spin there. And Ginger Andy then overtaking Risky Racer. So obviously that's going to be out of the points of Risky. No points for him. And here we go then. The gap of 1.7 seconds between Aiden Griffins, the final podium position, and Machine Fishy. 1.7 to 1.8 second gap. Kyle is not far behind, 6/10 behind Machine Fishy. And actually, Machine Pop is overtaken. And what is that? I'm not sure what happened there, but Risky Racer and Machine Pop, I think, may have came together at that second to last corner. And I'm hearing Phil Bardwell has DRS failure. Now, I'm not sure if it's DRS stuck open or it's stuck shut for Phil Bardwell. So that's not what he wants either. So there's a lot of DRS failures going on at the moment. Not really what you want, and I'm hearing Aiden Griffin's DRS has finally shut itself by the grace of God. But I don't actually think Machine Fish is closed in. The gap is still 1.6 seconds. So that gap, even with Aiden's DRS being open, didn't change. However, let's see if it changes now. Let's see that, Aiden's Griffin's, straight line speed, let's see if it's lower, and that allows Machine Fish to close up. You never know, really. You never know with this game. But, Matt Tibos is, he's dropping back, I'd say, from Corey. It was obviously 1.7 seconds at the DRS or the DRS restart, virtual safety car restart, or the actual safety car restart. And it's 3.3 seconds now, so I think Corey's probably won this, barring any misfortunes, I'd say. Matt Tibos definitely has a second place in the bag yet again, so that's obviously good, nice, consistent racing. And yeah, Machine Fish and Aiden, the gap is staying about the same there. So there's not too much action going on at the moment, I'd say. So yeah, this has not been as entertaining as the last one, but you can't win at everything. Unless you're on the circuit, then you can try and win, but can't have the most exciting races at every single race. But we've pretty much had most of them this season. I think every single race this season has been entertaining in some sort of way. We are still got the likes of Monaco, I think Singapore as well to come still. So that should be an interesting week for overtaking. That's if they're on the same week. They're not, of course. However, I'll show that at the end of this race of the calendar again, just so you can all see. If you're a first-time viewer, again, I say go and follow TGP Series on Twitter. Keep up to date with the racing, the results, of course. We do multiple leagues again. TGP 1, Dirt Rally, that's starting on Friday, of course. We're obviously at the max at the moment of 35 drivers, so there is no more room, sadly. But you can always watch people's YouTube videos. I think a lot of people are going to be streaming them as well. Machine Fish are getting well out of shape there, as I'm rambling on about shite. Khalifa only half a second. Then there's someone coming out of the pits. I think that's a lapped car, of course, of Risky Racer. It is. He is ghosting, so that's not going to prove an issue, I don't think. However, his teammates got past him, so I think Risky Racer definitely needs to get out of the way straight away. I think he's actually AI, so that's not going to be too much of an issue. However, and there we go, Risky Racer does get out of the way. He was ghosting anyway, so it's not a big issue, but it can be very off-putting, I'd say. To the drivers ahead, and this pretty much is the closest battle at the moment. Obviously for P6 and P7, obviously both on the same tyres, both been on those tyres for the same amount of time, so it's down to whoever's got the better setup, the better pace, and who is the better driver at this circuit. And Waze then, not sure what happened there, but you know, it is very, very tasty at the moment. And Machine Fishy's just got a 3-second penalty, so that's not good for him. He's only... Well, I mean, he will lose 2 places if it stays like this at the moment. So he needs to pull that gap a bit further ahead to only lose 1 place. There's only a couple of laps remaining, of course. But then Khalifa going back with this battle is... he can't really get past, to be honest with yourself, at the moment. I think Knighton may... Well, Knighton doesn't have the DRS on Carl ahead of him. So Knighton must be running a lot of... You know, having a lot of good slipstream, as well as not much wing around here, which can work. It really can. And I must point out yet again, even though Jack Pearson out-qualified Ginger Andy is ahead on the circuit again by a quite big margin. So, well done, Ginger Andy again. Jack Pearson, shut your shit out again. But we'll focus on what matters. We'll really focus on what matters for this race, and that is battles. There's not really any at the moment. I must point out, it's a bit of a stalemate at the moment. I think Australia doesn't tend to produce amazing races. There are a lot of battles, as Dan the Man has actually just got past J. Luke. So I'm talking about battles, and we're missing it. Good camera work from me. Yeah, I think Dan the Man will probably pull away. He's got a 7.8 second gap to P8, so that's definitely not going to be pulled down there. And actually, I think Corey has made a mistake somewhere, because that gap has came down from 3 seconds, and Corey's damaged his wing somewhere. Actually, he's missing half of his wing, so this race is not over. I am talking absolute shit, because I said there was no battles, and there's 2 laps to go. 1 second the gap then between the top 2. The gap was 3.3 seconds just a lap ago, so I reckon either Corey's crashed at potentially the fast chicane on the exit, or it was the corner prior to that with the wall on the right hand side, as Corey gets a penalty then. So Corey gets a 3-second penalty. Matt Tibos does not have any penalties, so this is pretty much a done deal, barring any damage or mistakes from Matt Tibos. But we'll see. Again, anything can happen, and this will be Matt Tibos's win if he keeps it at this gap. And we will see then as Dan the Man gets a penalty in popcorn. Magic Poop Cannon, I believe, has crashed at the exit of the fast chicane as well. As we can see, the top 2 is obviously he does retire there. But yeah, this is I think Corey needs to do something. Obviously, again, we don't condone damaging other people's cars or anything like that, but I think Corey needs to potentially, you know, scare Matt, you know, into a mistake. He needs to do something, because if it stays like this, Matt Tibos will win the race. And I must point out as well, Matt Tibos' last race win was Japan, which was round 6, so he did not win last week at all. So I think this win, if he wins, of course, will prove very good for him. Obviously, his title contenders, which is Corey and Machine Fishy. Obviously, Corey will be P2. He is 6 points currently behind Corey, I believe. And it'll go ahead by 1 point if he wins this race, which I think he will do. However, Machine Fishy is still obviously in the lead of the championship on this final lap, of course. And Corey there getting a bit out of shape again, that understeer through that fast section of corners. So here we go then, Matt thinking about going up the side. Corey's weaving about the circuit. He needs to be very careful of that. Obviously, it cost Matt Tibos and he's on the grass there, Matt Tibos. I don't know if that's a camera angle or the spectator cam though, but Corey needs to be very careful that, you know, he doesn't do anything illegal. He was very lucky not to get any sort of penalty in Germany when he basically took Matt Tibos out of the race. But, you know, hopefully it doesn't come to that, of course. These two know what's at stake. But here we go then. The final half of this lap. Matt Tibos has less ERS than Corey. But again, Matt Tibos, I don't think needs to risk it. He knows, I reckon, by the engineer telling him that Corey has a penalty. But we're going to see. We're really going to see. Just to, Matt Tibos winning another race, which is good to see, really. Again, it's been, well, he won Japan about a week and a bit ago. But, yeah, it's been not quite the most entertaining race, but again, you can't have it all your own way. And here we go round the final corner then. Corey will finish P2 on the race and on the road. But Matt Tibos then crosses the line. And Matt Tibos finishes second. So Matt Tibos must have had a penalty that I missed somewhere. Matt Tibos finishes second somehow. I'm not too sure when he got a penalty. I never saw it on the stream. But Corey finishes in first still. And here we go then. Paul and Knighton. So Knighton finished ahead of Paul. Dan the Man on his own. J. Luke 3 seconds. Actually, J. Luke finished ahead of Dan the Man there. As I cough. Ginger Andy yet again finishing ahead of, well, a lot of drivers you'd expect to be higher up. Panos in P12 and Jack Pearson, the last of the runners who have not been lapped. Come around the final corner in P13, so that's again no points for Jack Pearson. And that is your race for TGP1 Australia, round 10. And obviously, once the podium has gone over, we'll go over the finishing positions yet again, as they do change a lot with penalties and things like that. And there we go then. The Alfa Romeo wins the race. Again, I missed Matt Tibos' penalty. Not sure when that happened. It must have been very early on. But we shall see there. And there go 3 different manufacturers yet again on the 3 steps of the podium, spraying the champagne. I think Corey will be very satisfied with that. Came under a lot of pressure. Nearly bottled it at the end as well. Obviously, he's getting some damage on the last couple of laps. Very easy to mess up. You get complacent, one mistake, and that's it really. And yeah, well, it's good. And there we go then. So there is your race finishing positions. Corey P1, Matt Tibos P2, Adrian Griffiths in P3, Kyle a very good P4 from P8 on the grid. Machine Fish, I think, will be very disappointed with that, finishing P5. Again, he got damage with wings. Khalifa P6, Knight in P7, Paul P8, J. Luke in P9, Dan the Man in P10, finishing the points. Andy, only 1 position outside the points, so no points for Andy tonight. And obviously the rest of the grid there as well. And the points after tonight's race then, Fishy is on 146, Corey is on 138 in second, Matt is on 125, and that is obviously the top 3, of course, obviously, which is the one that matters at the moment, of course, I will say. And I will point out here as well on the screen, you can see obviously the rest of the calendar. So next week we have Spain and Singapore, 2 very different circuits. One's a very fast medium circuit, one is a very slow and twisty one. Again, a lot to play for at Singapore, of course. Obviously, you have been watching TGP1 season 33. Obviously, it's been the soft cop yet again commentating. Again, it'll be live as of next week again. But you have been watching today's video and obviously stream, of course. It's been an absolute pleasure. See you next Tuesday. And I hope you all stay safe.